Hi Minster School community. I'm not deliberately hiding behind flowers, but I just wanted to share with you something unexpected that came in the post for me this week. So these are absolutely beautiful and they smell gorgeous. And I was not expecting to get a bouquet of flowers, not for any reason this week, but these arrived from a friend with a little note that said, "You're all kinds of amazing." I don't know about you, but when things like this happen, I'm a little bit taken aback. I don't expect it. I don't ever expect this kind of thing. And although they are absolutely beautiful and I've thanked my friend profusely for sending them, I'm still just a little bit in shock that somebody would think to send me flowers. Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever wonder when somebody else gives you a compliment that perhaps it's meant for somebody else and not quite for you? Self-respect, self-esteem, confidence, they're really tricky things, aren't they? And I invite you with me today just to take a few moments to think about the idea of self-respect and what it says about who we are and our purpose here. So let's just take a few minutes to have a think together. The way we feel about ourselves, our sense of self-respect and self-esteem, our confidence, often depends on how we're looking at ourselves. We can measure ourselves up against all sorts of different things, and it's a bit like looking at ourselves in different types of mirrors. We could look in the mirror of academic achievement, or sporting skills, musical ability, our friendships. Whichever mirror we're looking in will give us a view of ourselves, but on its own might not give us the whole view. But each of us is looking to see who we are. Who am I is such a big question, isn't it? And I'm guessing that we would fill in these sentences differently at different days or in different moods. But it's an important question, and I guess many of us ask it a lot of the time. Who am I? What am I here for? Am I worth self-respect? And of course, as a Christian, I believe we all are. And that takes me to look at the Bible. The Bible tells us that all of us are worth something, that all of us have a part to play and a purpose. And for me as a Christian, I guess my sense of self gets rooted in some of these verses. This is one of my favourites, from one of the Psalms in the middle of the Bible. For you, speaking of God, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. These words remind me that when God made the world, he looked at it and he saw that it was very good. And that includes me, even on my worst days when I don't measure up to the things that I wish that I did. Even then, I am not worthless. I am fearfully and wonderfully made by a loving Creator. And for me, that becomes quite a strong foundation for a feeling of self-worth and self-respect. But of course, that doesn't mean it's easy, not by any means. And I think I'm not alone. I think everybody has doubts about their own sense of self sometimes and how others might perceive them. I think self-respect and self-esteem are tricky, and there are plenty of times when we need a friend to come alongside us and remind us that there are so many things they value in us. We talk a lot in school about how we succeed together. And the Bible talks a lot about how much we need each other too. Here's another verse from the Bible, this time some words that Jesus said. When he was asked what the greatest commandment was, he said, "Love your neighbour as yourself." There is no commandment greater than these. I think self-respect grows as we respect one another. As I was saying a minute ago, if a friend needs to come up to us and remind us of how much they value in who we are, we also need to do the same for others. And I think our sense of self, our better picture of who we really are, becomes clearer as we do that. As we reach out to other people and see the value in them, we also then learn the value in ourselves in new ways. Being with other people, helping each other out, being positive with other people and telling them what they mean to you, all of these things help our own positive mental health. They help us to feel whole, to feel connected as part of a bigger community. For each of us, the beliefs that we have and the story that we live our life by will shape our sense of self differently. But as a Christian, as I've said before, a lot of my sense of self comes from that faith. And there's a beautiful prayer in the New Testament which says this: "May you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high and how deep His love is." And that's my prayer for us as a community today, that we will know that God loves us, that God made us and saw us and said, that is really good, and that we can find our sense of self and our self-respect rooted in that truth.